Hi, I'm Mike Confalone, and welcome to my proto-freelance railroad, the Allagash, set in north-central Maine in the spring of 1977. We're at a location on the Allagash called New Portland, Maine, and eventually this will be home to a major customer for the Allagash Railway, and that's the St. Regis pulp and paper mill. We're looking at the space where this paper mill will be built, and over the next couple of months I'll be very busy working on this project. Promises to be a real challenge and very interesting too. As you know, paper mills are gigantic industrial complexes and they require a lot of space to model. That presents a challenge, so that's also something that makes this project a little bit unusual, is we will be creating this industrial giant paper mill in a very, very small space. We're looking at about a 2.5 foot wide by 6 foot long area to build. And essentially we've got a picture window which we cut into this wall. Behind here houses the furnace and other utilities for the house, the water system, and a small dispatching office. So we've created a little bit of a space you can do something with. So the question is, how do you build a gigantic paper mill in such a small space? So what we're going to do is use a high-resolution photo backdrop of a real paper mill and put that in the space to give us a backdrop against which we'll set some 3D elements and create a nice realistic paper mill setting. Of course, we won't be able to model the quantity of traffic that a typical paper mill would have, but we'll be able to simulate very closely some of the operations of a mill. Okay, welcome back to New Portland, and let's take a look at the progress we've made so far since we first began the project. Just to review some of the things we've done, we've attached a 8 foot long piece of polystyrene, which goes from here to here, codes this entire corner here. Upon that, we've attached the high resolution photo backdrop of the actual mill, and we've gone ahead and cut out this doorway here on the loading shed. We've actually cut out the polystyrene and the photo backdrop. This will allow us to spot boxcars for pulp loading inside the shed, which is actually two-dimensional object here. Finished off the scene and created a nice shadow box look. We took some flat gray latex paint to match as best we could to the photo backdrop and painted the gap here and the ceiling. The next step was to paint the bare plywood a nice earth brown flat latex paint to give everything a uniform appearance, with the exception of these areas that are in white, which will represent the employee parking lot over in this area here, and a road that will access the back part of the mill behind what eventually will be the wood chip pile here, and then an access road off the layout for traffic coming into the employee parking lot. We painted those areas white to set those off. The next step was to work on a couple of crossings, and we did that here. We've got 4 crossings, 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are all wood plank crossings, so we used some scale lumber to attach the wood planking to the track here with some side-pox. And then out here we've got an asphalt crossing here and here, so we actually took some code 70 scrap rail and attached that with side-pox. So the next step, obviously, is to build this road system before we can start doing other ground cover, dirt, ballast, and things like that. So we've got a painted outline of it. We're going to use a material called lightweight spackling compound from Ace. It's great stuff, and I'll show you in a couple minutes how we're going to tint that and color it and spread it onto the road surface. The first thing we need to do is to create a guide for spreading that asphalt material. So what I like to use is just ordinary Midwest cork, just some scrap pieces of it. Use the square side facing in towards the road here, and this will give us a nice outline. We'll take just some simple small brads or nails, and again, this does not have to be perfect or anything. Really doesn't matter a whole lot. Attach those with a couple of nails, one up here as well. And then to the other side as well. I'm going to do this a little bit at a time. We don't need to do entire things. We can do a small section at a time, or you could set up the entire road if you'd like to, whatever your preference is. It really does not matter. Not critical. That's it. So we've got the road marked off with 2 pieces of cork. What we're going to do is take a putty knife and this material and screed it right into the surface, and then we'll let that dry for a couple of days, sand it, and then eventually we're going to blend this entire scene. We'll have an asphalt road, parking lot, and then lots and lots of ground cover to cover in the next segment.